Well, hello everyone. Thank you very much for calling in. Seifu Dad and Whale Miner and Spartan Pub. Geez, you guys are good. You just like, as soon as I post it there, you're just always onto it. I don't know how you do it, but you're just onto it. Chalk, I think she's going to be able to come online, but I'm not 100%. I thought I wasn't going to be able to, but I got the room back. As you can see, I've got Oh, geez, that's the wrong camera. Not. I've got visitors. My daughter's here. If I take that away, you can see on all the stuff on the bed, because got visitors here before they go flying away overseas. So there's a bit happening there. But what's going on, everyone? What's the latest today? And hopefully I can rustle up Chalk. I told her, but there's only so much I can do. I was feeling so tired earlier on, like there was no way, because I do lots of roller coaster rides now, and I was actually quite looking forward to not being able to come on, like losing the room, but it actually come all right. I can't really complain. Of course, everyone has their issues. I was doing some experimenting today with camera on Chuck, but I haven't posted the videos. Wonder if I might download them all onto the computer, and I might be able to show one. So I think I'll do it again, and to maybe make it better, because it turned out all right, but it's not that all right. You know how you sort of just strive for perfection? Yeah, but the camera sitting a fair way back on his back, looking at us feeding him milk, because we've got a dog harness for the GoPro, and that's what we put on the calf, and so they can walk around with the camera. And so we got a bit of footage with him with the camera on, but obviously Chuck isn't the busiest of boys. He's quite happy just moping along, in his own little world, and so he's not the most outrageous car to put it on. But you've always got that difficult thing because it's not like your dog where you can just call them back and stuff like that. They're different, so you're sort of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, depending on how you do it, I suppose, like what calf. But even then, it's like calf is just different. They're not like your puppy dog. So I'm just texting Chalk and saying, "Come on, where are you?" Seeing if she'll turn up. But I see that Rev Token is doing their pink sale at the moment, but it's very, it's a bit retarded in sales at this. I don't know, in whatever community space that Rev Token were doing, because that I'm not too sure about. I know they were involved with the brew fi a lot, but yeah, they just need a lot more sales. That's the thing. I was hoping to get Jared on to be able to talk about Rev Token and discuss its pros and cons because it has passive income aspects to it. So it would be obviously interesting to hear what he has to say. But it's the difficulty thing is the thing about the timing, trying to make a rendezvous because he's just getting up at the moment, and of course he's a dad and has to deal with his daughter. And I make that sound bad, but you know what I mean. There's just lots of stuff going on, so it's just the way it is. We got things to do. But yeah, it is just the way it is. What else is there? How's the market going today? I should check that. Go to there and see if my BNB's gone back up again. Oh, it's only got worse. Far out. I'll go on to the buy and sell so I can see what it is. And Bitcoin is down just a little bit since yesterday, 0.7%. It's down 2.3 this time yesterday. Now it's down 0.7 again. Oh, well, that's just the way it goes. Sometimes you can be a winner, and other times maybe not so much. I heard a beep saying there's someone has messaged me. Here we go. Oh, what? Chalk can't join. I'm gonna tell her off. It's obviously not a busy night. I'm just seeing whether this other guest can join. I won't say who it is yet because it might be a bit of a surprise. If they do, I'll find out. What's WorldCoin? What is WorldCoin? I've been watching WorldCoin price and it's staying steady at $2.14. What would that be? Well, I've got someone to join me. So it'll be hopefully a pleasant surprise. It's going to be different. But let's go and see. I'm sure this will be the first of more conversations. But we can just try these things, can't we? See what happens. I'll have to put my headset on. Oh, rightio. I did not know that. Learning something new every day. Yeah. Chat GP. So that's the AI stuff. So, yeah. Is that like using it as like a utility thing for that at all? Because I'm presuming they would make their own utility stuff. There we go. Hello, Mr. Prado.
Good morning, Keith. How are you? Well, it's good evening for you. Sorry. It's good time of day, whatever time of day it is for you, brother.
Yeah. It's we're exactly 12 hours apart. So
12
really,
hours. Exactly the opposite sides of the day, yes.
Yeah, so if I dug a hole, I'll end up in your house.
That's right.
Normally they say you dig a hole and you end up in China, but no, we'll end up in your front yard.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. That was always funny that whole thing growing up. You know, if you dug a hole, you end up in China. But that's funny that in our case, it would be my front yard that you would end up. You're right.
Yeah, that's right. But obviously there would have to be some diamonds and stuff to go and dig up on the way there, though. You know, like
why not? On your way, why not?
Isn't that what's in the middle of
I'm just having my coffee. Stuff? I have the dog out and just keeping an eye on him. He's basking in the sun now. So and beautiful day here. What's that?
You haven't gone to work yet?
No, today I'm not working. Yesterday, yesterday I didn't have to work my job, but I was very busy doing a lot. Like I told you, when you before and after you were on, I was telling you that I had a lot to do. For the worldwide token, and we got a lot done. So we're looking forward to releasing here sometime in the next days. So that'll be coming out very soon.
Yeah, no, it's exciting days ahead for you. That's for sure.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of your whole world. Obviously I'm not trying to forecast, both good or bad things. It's going to be a hell of a ride for you. I can tell you that.
Sure.
It's going to be some mixed emotions, I'm sure. It'll be interesting to see how it all goes for you because, it's an interesting space to be involved in. It's maybe not quite as easy as what some people might think, but yeah, we'll see. Obviously you just do what you do. You do the best that you can for your community and for your project, of course. And,
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to doing something, as you very well know, I mean, there's it could be a very easy way. You know, you could just throw something together and
Oh yeah.
put it out there, and people can either get involved or not. But what I'm doing and what you've heard about, and anything else that you're going to ask me about now, it all is. Uh, there's a lot more to it in because of the way that I'm doing it. So, I mean, I could have just threw a contract together. Even Nick Cagliani has the DApp starter. You could easily go there and just put something up, and it'll automatically create a token for you on any one of the blockchains that are involved with DApp starter. And then you can just put something together that quickly. But with the way that I'm doing it, there's just so many different things that are involved, that there's a lot that went into it, and then also a lot of precaution that needs to be taken, so that I can make sure that things are done properly without anybody losing money because of hacks or break-ins and things like this. So all of that has to be taken into consideration as well. So time and money are all a lot here, but we're getting right there to the point now where it's going to be ready. But I'm open to talk about anything you want, and also any of the questions that you have. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's
whatever
an
you want to talk about.
interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting position when you got to go through all of the process of create. Not only just the designing of the thing, but you've actually got to source your developer and all that sort of stuff, and then go through the auditing process. And there's a lot to it, a lot of sleepless nights trying to make sure you've got all of the tinkerings just right. A lot of people don't realize that that there's a lot of thought. I know you've done a lot of community feedback stuff, which has obviously helped a lot in fine tuning, adjustments, etc. I see that you got rid of some red flags, which, but I call it like you're losing the fun parts, I know that's a very layman's way to put it, but when you got to make tokens that don't have so many adjustments or features, that's removing all the fun bits. When, the problem is that people use that shit for leverage, for advantage, to scam. And that's the problem with tokens. They've got to be basically just, within reason, fairly straight down the road. It's very hard to keep all the fun bits included, but that's just the way it is. But I think that obviously I've seen on the last, it's been a few days since I've seen the announcement, but there was one that you removed 3 different components that were flagged on the audit. One was your vaporizer, and then your wallet swapping one, and your blacklist. So, there was each of those aspects, of course, have their good points. And that's why I would call it fun, because it's the good stuff. But of course, like anyone looking from the outside looks at it and goes, oh, shit, I don't want to be involved in things that could do that. And it's like, oh, shit, there goes that bit of, the spirit's right. The intent is right, but it just comes across not looking right on paper. And that's what makes it very difficult when you go beyond your community.
Right. And that's I tried to hold on to it for as long as I could. It was just a couple of weeks, but I ended up just saying, you know what? It's just causing too many, it already had the red flags, like you mentioned, but then there was little red flags being put on top of the little red flags, if you will.
I know.
And I'm like, okay, this is enough of this, there's enough of that. Like, let me just stop this. I'm just going to tell everybody, look, this was to help you guys. That's all it was for, but it's just causing too many problems. So I'm sorry. It's kind of rude to say, but you're on your own. If you get into this, you got to be just like any other token. Nobody else has done this. I'm gonna end up not doing it either, because the red flags are explainable, but then the little red flags that other people are putting on top of it, it's just making it worse. So it's just too much in the end, so I'm going to have to take it away and just that's all. I mean, I listened to what people were saying, and I just figured, you know what, it's just better to go more the traditional way where these are not involved.
Unfortunately, you just have to. Like, it's
You
just
have
that you
to,
sort
yeah.
of you just get forced into that. And like my second round of calf, I made a lot of like I've got variable taxes and stuff, and also it just brings up extra flags. Like you get 4 different red flags on it, and it's like, as much as it's good to have those components, that's what they used to do, like in the early days of crypto, where you could have that before the community learned or been scammed enough, and you could do those sorts of features. But of course, everyone's paid a price with the amount of scamming and shit that's gone on, that how it's all evolved into what it is now, where you get an audit done and it's just got to be straight down the line. And that's why I say that's not fun, because it's just a straight token. Like, as much as you might come up with these great ideas, you keep on getting forced into not being able to go through with it, because it's just not acceptable within the audit space, because anything that allows you as an owner or the deployer to make adjustments to it, obviously brings up a flag. And so it really does narrow it down a lot to having that flexibility and the, like having the initiative and the ideas of having a unique aspects to your token. It's like when you originally started out with your tax rates and stuff like that. Even though I feel a lot of that, of what you did originally when you were talking 90% and all that sort of shit, I'm sure you're just saying that as like, I don't know whether this is true or not, but this is just my opinion. I'm sure you're just saying that as a pull on the community, and when you bring it back to where it is now, it's like everyone's even cooler with it. It's kind of weird how it works like that, where, but that's my take on it anyway, because I didn't think you were ever going to carry through with that. That's why I never said it anywhere that, buddy, did you see Prado's got his tax up so high at that? But I never said anything about that to anyone, because I just really didn't think you'll ever do it. But not that I care if you did, but because I would be interested to see how you'd go. But, I just didn't see it. That's my own opinion. Don't tell me I lost you. Oh,
sorry, I'm here, but no. Oh, good. I'm sorry. I had to switch my my Wi-Fi because I came into a different room. So, but yeah. So when it comes to those things, those were all. I mean, even what we were talking about just a minute ago, where we had the vaporization and the transfer and all that stuff that was taken out, the blacklist. Those are all in the name of trying to protect investors. That's all they were for. So I was forced to make changes on them because of the things that people worried about, But, I'm sorry?
I know the heart is there, like the intent is correct, But when it comes to an audit or something like that, it is seen as, ooh, you just can't do it, and that's why, as much as you had your spirit and your heart in the right place, because you're doing it for the people, but the problem is that when you come to actually getting it through an audit, they see it completely differently than what you're looking at the community from, where they just see it and go, nah, red flag. And it's like, oh shit, well, I've got to deal with that, and it's,
Well, I mean, but I was able to still put in with everything else is gone. But when it comes to those high taxes that are at the very beginning, those are still there. It's just not 99%. Like I was, I went a bit overboard with those, and but to be real honest though, if I could do that, I would still. I mean, it's just that it looks really bad. Like, but if what I did was I asked the community over and over again, would they be fine with this? And they were totally, like 90% of everybody was just like, yeah, let's do that, because we've seen so many times, Keith, where I mean, it just happens, like where people buy into something, and then somebody, it's always one person gets gets the lion's share of everybody's money that they all put in, and then they dump on everybody. And so, I was looking at it like, well, if you're going to do that, then that's fine. We'll charge a 99% tax. It's as ridiculous as that sounds, and we'll take it all back and then give it back to everybody. That's fantastic. But it didn't work out that way, so we ended up going down to 40%. That gradually goes down from day one to day 30, all the way back down to what will be the normal 10% sell.
That's the system that you've got now. Yep.
Yeah.
Because I knew you were talking about that, but I wasn't sure whether that was the actual one that's set in concrete now, so to speak. That it was going to be on a sliding scale over an extended period of time.
Yeah, it does. It goes from 40, then the next day is 39, then the next day is 38, then the next day is 37, all the way down to the 30th day where it lands on on the normal 10%. And then from that day forward, it will be 10% to sell. The same thing as buy, it's 10%. The whole time it's 10% to buy, except for if you participate in the pre-sale, which there's no tax at all. So that's a great advantage for that day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, that's a good thing about doing the pre-sale stuff, or the pink sale stuff, is that you get that advantage to start with, and that's what people normally degen and dump on, because they've got that advantage. But of course, if you've taken that away with the tax, well, we'll see what happens, won't we? Like, it's just got to see how it plays out. I'm really I'm not one way or the other. I am absolutely being straight honest with you. I'm really interested to see how it goes, because I don't know. I could profess I have an answer one way or the other, but sure. I would only be talking shit, because the reality is I don't know what your thing's going to do. I don't even know what my own thing's going to do. You just you set a path, and then you just see what happens. And hopefully with good management, it works out okay. But it'll be really interesting just to see how that, because I have a little bit of a track history on what you're doing. When I had the rug happen to Calf, or the malicious dev from multi-DAO steal the LP, and it was amazing how much FUD I got. Change the subject for a sec. It was amazing how much FUD I got over that, Daniel. And then, you're alive.
I don't have my background set up.
Yeah, where's all your flash shit?
It's there. It's just that the black is not there. Mrs. Worldwide took it for something that she was doing in the past few days. I put it back, but I figured let me come on since I'm ready here.
Yeah, we've got all natural settings, haven't we? That's what it is. Fancy that. Prado's got normal walls.
Yeah.
But, and the amount of FUD that I copped over multi-DAO, or over the rug of Calf, because I call it a rug, even though I was a malicious dev. The company is now under investigation for doing exactly that. And that's why I fucking told everyone, a multi-DAO. And then, now it comes up that they're a company that's done $15 million worth of this sort of scamming shit going on. I fucking told everyone that, that was what happened. But that's the sort of shit that we can fall into. And I'm sure you wouldn't, but it's so easy for it to happen. It's unbelievable. But what I tend to find makes it a little bit more likely for some than others is that you put pressure on yourself to get results. And when you're putting pressure on yourself to get results, you might do actions which maybe aren't as thought through as what it should be. And so it opens the opportunity for being accessed to a malicious dev or whatever it might be. But of course, you've seen in recent times how easy it is for malicious devs to be in protocols. It's in the crypto space, it is literally everywhere. And so it takes a lot to walk your way through without actually stepping on a landmine. It's bloody hard. But hopefully you don't. I don't want that to happen to you. It was fucking
No,
shit
I
when
don't
it
want it to
happened to
happen to me
me.
either.
And yeah,
We have
and
the engineers that we're using are doxed, and they come from a
yeah,
company that is fully
I
doxed.
I know that
They're-
side of it. You're fine. That
yeah.
the making of your token and stuff, you're going to be 100% fine. Yeah, that's not going to be a problem at all. Your contract will be spot on. I'll be certain about that. I'm
Actually,
100% confident.
we got our contract, and it's been approved fully with all those
Yep.
things that we spoke about earlier being
Yeah.
taken out. Now it's 100%. There was one thing that we needed to complete, which again yesterday was, we had to do work on that as well, which we did, which is the multi-sig wallet. They wanted that so that it could be even more ironclad. We were able to finish that and get that in. So now it is 100%. And then on top of that, we're putting it to another audit from another completely different company to get another set of eyes on it so that we can get that done as well. So I really want to make sure that this is ironclad so that there is nothing like that.
I'm sure it will be. I don't have any doubt. I would imagine your second audit will come up with it. It's no different than the first one. Even though it's a different company and that, hopefully I'm right in saying that, But if they do pick up something, you'll be like, thank fuck for that I dodged that bullet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
But that's what you pay for. But I know that there's different, like when you go to Certic, there's different levels of audits you can get done. And so it depends on what type of audit you actually get for your contract. It can vary on what sort of openings there might be that hasn't been detected. And so, yeah.
Well, we have a third different one looking as well, if you will. That's not for the contract, but for the component that is going to be for the claiming. There's that's a component that I need to make sure is ironclad as well.
That's the bit where you'll have your biggest slip up, is those add-on parts.
Yes.
The smart contract itself, you'll be perfectly fine with that, I'm sure. But it's those extra bits. It's always when someone does, like whether it's an NFT staking type thing or something extra that's attached to the token, that's where the vulnerabilities are, is in that contract. So that is where you really got to have your eyes open and make sure that you're doing everything you possibly can when it comes to those components.
Yeah, well, it's not just everything that we possibly can. It's making sure that it's locked. It's ironclad. I don't want to do everything that I can, and then somebody still gets in. Like, that's not what I want. I want it to be no one can get in. This is ironclad. You can only claim if you have world. That's it. That's what it's going to be. If you have world, then you can claim world from the worldwide pool, and then also you get to participate in gifts that the company's giving you because you also have world. That's it. That's just the beginning and end of it. There's no getting in any other way. So
no, but that's
what we're going to make sure.
But you just got to remember the onus is on you. You're the one that's under pressure there. You got to make sure it's right.
That's right.
Well, and welcome to the party. That's where, and hopefully you never go through what I've been through, because that's just, I'm telling you as a friend, please don't do that. Because
I will. I mean,
it fucking hurts.
The thing is that we've spent so much money already, and the money is like, when it comes to that though, to me, like, and I'm like, I haven't even told you Matt this. He's gonna hear it right now. What I want to do is we're gonna. Yeah, well, it's nothing. It's nothing like that's like revealing in any way. It's just more insurance is what I want to give people, which is we're gonna release this, and because we release it, we'll have the pink sale. There's gonna be money that comes in, and then I'm gonna have it looked at again. I'm gonna have those components looked at again with an even stronger audit, so that all those, because understand, we're not gonna have those gifts right away. So I want those to be looked at. and I want it to be, high levels of looked at, if you will. I want those things to be looked at, and because I'll have the money now, because we've released and we have some money in the treasury now, I'll be able to get those done, and then make it even more. Make sure for 100,000% that these things cannot be broken into. And so we're going to get that done after we release. Now they're going to be looked at already, so don't get me wrong. But the good thing is that when we release, there isn't going to be a bunch of claiming going on left and right. Especially in the first day, you're going to be able to the second day where you will be claiming world after the first 24 hours. You'll be able to start claiming world the second day from the worldwide pool, but there won't be anybody claiming Bitcoin and Vulcan and all that stuff. And I want those things to be thoroughly inside and out, taken apart, put back together, looked at. You know what I mean, Keith? I want those things to be 1,000% ironclad, and because we'll have the money now. Because every single dime that we have has gone to this. I mean, like, we've been, because it obviously has cost a lot of money to put all these components together.
I know what it costs.
Yeah, but in the end, though, now that we have it and we're there, there's last minute things that we're getting done. But then once it released, there's going to be money that comes in, right? So I'll be able to take some of that money and say, hey, listen, look at this in the best possible, attack it in every way. I want it to be attacked in every way so that it can come back.
Shit stolen. Like,
because we don't want that. I mean, because if it does, guess what, Keith? We're done. It's over.
I know,
just like that.
That's why I'm saying to you as a friend, like, please just make sure you've got that side of it right, because that's where most of the failures seem to happen. I'm sure you will, but just don't go through what I've been through. Like, seriously, just don't contemplate it. It's really, really shit to go through. Just the calf community were great, but the Seafood community, or the extended community, was pretty damn harsh. But it's the company that I said is known. It's in the media for being checked up because of all this scam and shit. Like, it's I said it before they were announced, because that's what it was. Like, there's nothing news. There was no new news to me. It was what it was. But yeah, but anyway, I'm sure you've got that side of it done. Whale Miner was saying hello, welcome Daniel Prado. Your map was here. I don't go all bullish and I don't go not bullish. I just sit on the fence. I talk to you in direct message, and I'm no different in direct message than what I am here. Is that I wish you all the best. As a CEO, I'm 100% supportive, as I hope that you're supportive of whatever I'm doing.
Of course.
And that's where it stands. I don't get into the politics about your token. There's no way I'm going to say, oh, no, you this or that, or, one way or the other. I just go straight down the line. It is what it is. You develop a project and you give it your best chance of getting success. You muster the troops. The rest of it is up to however the community accepts the token. And I wish you all the best, of course. It's not like stealing people or anything. I don't see it like that. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know whether you're aware of it, but I'm actually moving Calf to Grove token or Grove blockchain.
Yeah, you mentioned it yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. And some people might see that as a negative thing against Vulcan. But one aspect that I was trying to say is that what happens when I want to become multi-chain, which is what the intent was always to become.
Sure.
What happens if Vulcan happened? Because obviously I've got my own personal bag, plus Cause of the Calves is sacrificed in Vulcan. But if Vulcan blockchain actually turns out to be okay for a project, because I did always say that I would never, ever be the first one to launch on the Vulcan. It's got to be working and it's got to be secure. Like, it's got to be functional. It's got to be doing its proper stuff as a blockchain does. Sure. It's got to be functioning, because obviously you're not going to launch a project on there and have something where you can't do transactions or some other stupid shit goes wrong. You want it, you need it to work. But the aspect that I'm using is that with Grove, I get a lot of marketing and support, because we're a refi project, not a DeFi project, because obviously it's a real thing with animals. And if we happen to go to Vulcan, guess what? You're bringing some Grove community's eyes to look at Vulcan.
Yeah,
you
of
should be
course.
seen as nothing but a positive thing, because, and that's
Yeah,
why I say that
I don't
we're
know,
all in
Steve, I don't
one
know why
family.
people because one of the things that I was asked, like, are you going to bring it to Vulcan? Are you going to migrate over to Vulcan? And my first initial thought was, no, like, why would I do that? And I remember saying that on the air, like, we're just gonna launch, and the former guy was like, I think that's a terrible idea. And I just thought that was a weird thing, and I didn't let it influence me. My plan is still going to be that we're not going to migrate over. That would mean that we're taking the entire thing over there. Why would I do that when I can just simply launch on the other blockchain, which is
Yes,
Vulcan
correct.
blockchain, and then
Correct.
Grove
Correct.
blockchain if we want. Why
whatever suits. Yeah.
migrate everything over when if it's working so well on the Binance Smart Chain, which is the things that you've experienced as well. You're here on the Binance Smart Chain, then you're going to go over to Grove, and then you're going to bring, like, why not just launch it again and again? If it's working well, then the blockchain, it could be on all these blockchains, multi-blockchain, like, and that's what I'm going to do too. So I agree with you 100%. It's just, just put it, if it's ready, put it over there on Grove, and then when Vulcan comes out, when that's ready, or you feel comfortable that it is ready for you, then take it over there. That's exactly what I'm going to do. We're not doing anything different.
With Calf, I'm removing it off Binance for the time being. The reason why is because I'm getting a brand new contract made up. And so the current version of Calf, which is actually my second version of Calf, is no longer going to exist. So it's going to go back to just a straight Calf / Grove. So it's no more a V2. It's back to just a original V1 again. But it's a complete new contract that's getting written for it now. And where I've completely, like, I'm eliminating the more red flags, the same deal as what you done, but obviously slightly different red flags, but it's the same sort of thing where, you've just got to sort of lose those fun bits, the adjustable bits, and go back to just being more of a token. But what I was going to say before is that when I launched V2 after the malicious dev did its thing, I launched that with, I think, a 30% sales tax. And then I reduced it down to 20%, and then 10%, and now we're down to 3%, I think. So I just did that in just increments like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that, that was only done because I wasn't sure how fuddy, and the community wanted it to be done this way as well, but I wasn't sure how fuddy it was going to be after reestablishing it after having the liquidity stolen. And so we weren't sure whether there was going to be much of a bank run or not. Consequently, there wasn't. Whether that was because of the tax or not, I don't know. But that, you could probably say that it might have influenced some people just to hold that a little bit longer and realize that, the ocean's not that rough after all. We'll be okay, and just let it sit, rather than just selling out on you. And so that's why I was saying, to some degree, I have some experience with exactly what you're going to do with World. But obviously it's in different increments and whatever, but high tax down to a low tax, or much lower tax. So, I've essentially personally done exactly what you're doing. Now, that's why, like, the last thing I'm going to do is be a hypocrite and start throwing stones at you. I've done the same bloody thing. Come on.
You have to do something. I mean, like, I can't go out and just hope that people are going to do the right thing. There's going to be people that are going to try to be malicious, and it just is what it is. And so, is there some protection in there as opposed to no protection at all? Well, that's the way I'm looking at it. So, people will think positively of it, and people will think negatively of it. I can't concern myself with that. I have to look at the big picture, zoom out, see the entire thing, see the entire picture. And in my opinion, in the end, this is the better way to go. Now, it would have been better if it was 99%. Well, I mean, it would have been definitely nobody selling, because that would, like, what the heck is, who wants to give up their entire bag for
It would have been an
1%, right? But
experiment.
the
I
good
would
thing
have
is
loved to have
that,
seen it.
yeah, I would love to have seen it too, because just to see if there was somebody, but probably not. So what I think is at 40% though, if we turn out to have a big turnout, right? And let's say that it does experience, multiple X's. If it 2, 3, 5, maybe even 10 X's, whatever it turns out to be.
Someone
Even
might
at
take it.
40%, people can sell and they could take
Yeah.
out a very big profit, right? So that's the way that I saw it also. So it is a discouragement for people to dump their entire bag, but it's not so much that they can't still take profit. And then eventually, 30 days later, even 15 days later, whatever it is, we should be in a better position liquidity wise to be able to handle any kind of pump and dumps, because the liquidity will be much healthier by then. So I'm hoping to be at least at a million or more in liquidity by
But don't
30
lose
days.
it. Don't do it me. For fuck's sake. Don't do it me. And
How was it that you? Let me ask you about the problem that you where you had the
I was working.
rogue
I was.
dev, the rogue
I was.
engineer, if you will. What happened there?
Yeah.
Like, who was it that you were using? Was it a
Yeah.
company, or was it just some
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how did
No.
that
No.
work
No.
out?
No. No. The company was MultiDAO, and they've scammed lots and lots of projects that's come to the fore since they weren't in the media prior, when I got done. But just recently I seen it in the on the chats that MultiDAO has done all this scam and shit, like on the internet, and farmed $1 million, and that's the company, and it's the same logo, and it's like, yep. All it was a bridging company to bridge from multi-chain, because I was just doing preparations for becoming multi-chain. And I was talking to Yanni at the time, and I told Yanni that I was using multi-DAO, and he was saying, I've never heard of him, but that doesn't mean anything, because, of course, we all haven't heard everyone, but they were
Right.
using RBX or whatever they are, through CryptoLink. And consequently, it turned out his one was the good one to use. And
Yeah.
I got the one that wasn't good to use. So during the process, because I'm not a developer, it was quite an extended period of time. Like it was shown to me that they needed access to that wallet, but it wasn't direct access as such. It was through a Web3 thingamajig that you just give approval to it, and then obviously that was the end of that. They've got access to it. From even though you got it on cold storage, that bypasses that, where they got access to your wallet, and so that was the LP gone, and that's what they've been doing to lots of different projects. And so it was when I spoke to CryptoLink about that after that, because they reached out to me and said, look, we understand what you're going through. And I spoke to them in person like this, but not in live chat, but in live talk. And I asked them, how regularly does this sort of shit happen? And they said to me, you wouldn't believe it. It happens all the time. It's not a rare occurrence at all. This happens all the time. And so they said, don't feel ashamed. It's just the shit happens. Just, you just got to deal with it. And that's why I'm expressing to you certain things, to make sure that you please don't go down that road, because, of making these types of things happen, because you don't mean to. Like, obviously it's not your intent to fuck up, but it comes with a hell of a price, doesn't it? Like, it fucking hurts.
It sure does, yeah.
When you're sitting there and you watch your liquidity go that we've been saving up for 6 months or whatever, and it was only at 13 grand, but like, when I say only, it was still 13 grand. There's a lot of money. And when you put that into Australian dollars, it's like nearly 20 grand Australian. So It's a lot of bloody money. I could, you buy a decent car for that. Like it's bloody hell. And yet these scammers just take your shit, and obviously that's all you hear of them. I reported them to the authorities and all that sort of stuff. But you never hear anything from that, so who knows? It's like, the Brian stuff. Who knows whether we'll ever hear anything from the authorities on that? We don't know. You'd seem to report to authorities and then it's just like, move on, like there's nothing more you can do except for just report shit. And that's what you do. But I think they just end up writing down numbers like, oh, it's another one scammed, whatever. And then just and flick you to the side and move on, especially with mine only being 13 grand, like it's in the scheme of things, it's nothing.
Even millions, because they don't like when it comes to this type of thing, they I mean, it's not like it's not like it's nothing. Obviously it's something, but like, when it comes to these authorities, they only care about like the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars when they really go after people. And that's why there's so many people that are taking advantage of this, what some like to call the wild, wild west, because, those hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, singular millions, is a lot of money for one person. And so they go out and they steal it. And for the most part, there's no one that's really going to look for them. I mean, there's the guys over at Brute DeFi and everything, and they're doing everything that they can to bring together, what they can to so
even
that they
that's
can.
Hard enough, isn't it? Like,
but as you can see, like they've gotten they've put together a whole ton of different evidences for the former guy and even others that are bad actors.
Other projects.
Right. And what has happened. I mean, and it's not to discourage them, but it's just along the point of what you were just making. It's you make these reports, you tell on these people and what happens, But I don't care about that. I care about my people. That's what I care about. I don't want that to happen to them, right? Even if it's just 13,000, like what you talked about, that must have hurt you like crazy to have that happen to your people. It's not like you were like, oh, well, what this happens, like that really hurt you. You know what I mean? Because and it would hurt me as well if I saw that happen to my people. So I'm doing everything that I possibly can. Absolutely 100%. Both Yamap and I are very, very concerned about the community and their money. And so we're not going to we're not going to leave any door unchecked. Every door, even ones that are on the floor, we're gonna if there's a door, we're gonna find it and we're gonna close it.
I'll just make a little bit of a clarification on your words there. When I had the rug happen, I did pause it, so no one technically lost any money. So there was no community losses in my token. I paused it, and so trading stopped. And it stopped for 13 days. I reissued a new token and liquidity, and we got back within the range of what was like. It stopped at like 5 cents, and we launched it again at 2.5. But when you look at the range, we always ranged around that 1.5 to 2.5 cents. So it was still within the range of being that. But that's all I could muster together to get the LP back. But technically, and literally no one lost any money. So there was no community loss. There was a loss on me, but there was no community loss. There was less ability for people to cash out because the liquidity pool wasn't so big, but people didn't choose to cash out. So there was no direct loss. So that's just to clarify that point. That's all. But Whale Miner's asking, what's the buy and sell tax on Weld?
What is the what?
The buy and sell tax.
It's 10 and 10. 10 and 10.
After 30 days, yeah?
After 30 days, that's right. It's 10 and 10, and it will remain that way all the way throughout. But we do have, because we've spoken about this too in the DMs, I do have a flexibility there, just in case to be able to go up to 15%. But That's just literally so that I can have the flexibility. I don't want to. I don't want to be locked into something. And if I need to make adjustments, I want to be able to, and that's all it's there for. But I don't think that that's ever going to really happen.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you just got to
If
see
I
how
freeze,
it works.
Keith, I'm just doing something, but I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yeah. Yep. Cosmic Force. Yeah, I know it's difficult. We're all learning. That's right. But that's where, like, we're learning through hardships and good ships, and that's just the way it is. And hopefully along the way we formulate mateships that, go beyond the trials and tribulations that we have, because we all understand that, the space has difficulties, but we're dealing with our own little challenges along the way. That's just the way it works. So thank you very much, Cosmic. You are dead right. Birdo, hi Dan, do you have a ballpark timeline when Pink Sale will be on? Well,
yeah, we're looking at we're still. I've been saying since the beginning that by the time everything is said and done, we should be able to release before the end of the month. And so we're still saying that because, I mean, we're moments away from this being announced, and so there's just a couple of things that we're getting done. Lastly, even today we might be finished, and then we'll be able to set it up. And so even if it's on July 31st, it's still going to be before the end of this month, which is at 12 midnight on July 21st at the end of the month. So even if it's on that day, but I'm expecting for it to be either on that day or the day before, or maybe even the day before that. But we'll see. I'll have the announcement sometime the next day.
Try not to get too stressed out on committing to certain days and having it done by that. I know that.
Well, if I can, though, I would like to. That's the only reason. I'm not really. If there's something that turns out, Keith, like sometime today, and they're like, "Listen, we're going to need a couple of days," then I'll just tell everybody it's not going to be until the first week of August. Like, I'm not stressed about that at all. But if I can, I'd like to be able to keep the promise of being able to release before the end of the month. That's all it is. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And Whale Miner is saying it needs to be PL tied. I'm sure he'll be trying to mess you up. As if you haven't been messed up enough already, Daniel. Like, seriously.
What was the comment? I'm sorry.
It needs to be BL tight. I'm sure he will try messing with you, Daniel Prado.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. But here's the difference between because there's people that have that concern. And I even had that concern, but then after conversing with Yamap and talking about it, the reality is that the former guy did do things like buying and selling and pumping and dumping and doing all that stuff, but he didn't have to worry about that because all of those taxes that he was spending to buy and all the taxes he was spending to sell, it was all going right back to him, wasn't it? Yep. He's welcome to do that here if he'd like, because then he's just giving 20% to the protocol every time.
I'd be saying, bring it in.
Yeah, I hope he does.
Like you wouldn't shut the door off to anyone. The idea is that the people pay a price. But they get duly rewarded for doing their actions. Like holding. You've got your claiming mechanisms and stuff with your passive incomes and that for you holding the token, and so you've got sides dealt with. It's the structure is different. It's different than mine.
Yeah,
I like it. A component secondary audit, good idea. That's your map referring to your previous statement before.
Yeah, that was what he's talking about there, because obviously he knows about this secondary and third audit for the component.
Yeah.
The component the component is what he's referring to there, where after we launch, we're still gonna have those looked at. That's what I figured it was. Nobody want that to be bad. If it happens, if it's bad, we're off. And nobody wants that.
So that's always where the vulnerabilities will lie. It's not so much in your smart contract. It's going to be when you do those add-on things. And that's where it just has to be right. So many different projects fail with add-ons. It's It just
Yeah,
seems to open
and
up
I'm
vulnerabilities.
telling you, Keith, I know that
Yeah,
because of you
yeah,
and others that
yeah,
have told me that, and also just because of my observation. As you know,
yeah,
I've
yeah,
been watching and learning about a
yeah.
lot in the past year and a half, more than a year and a half now, when it comes to contracts and projects and building and facilitating and everything else. And one of those things that I've learned a great deal about is those components, those extra things that you add. That's where that's where the criminals, they lay back thinking, oh, well, you know what, he's going to make a mistake there. Don't worry, I'll get it there. And they're not going to, not this time.
I think that really the only way you're going to have proper things go wrong is a malicious act by yourselves, and that's just not going to happen. I'm sure you're not going to
No,
do it. Like
no.
you've been through the shit. It would be as likely as I'm going to do it. I'm sure. Like it's just not going to
Right.
happen.
Well,
But
Keith, like
you know,
the bottom line is that, you know,
just,
to me, I think it's ridiculous what the former guy did. I'm going to bring up the former guy again. And the reason
yeah,
why it was ridiculous was because just imagine, Keith, the fame and notoriety and praise that he would have gotten if he did things right.
I know,
Now, that's what's going to happen with me
I
and
know.
Yamap and this team.
Yeah,
Like,
mm,
why, like it, and I'm not looking for fame and notoriety. That's not the reason why I'm saying it. I'm using it as an example. Like, why on
mm,
earth it's going to, in other words, it's going to pay off in much bigger, gigantic ways later down the road for us because of the fact that we're doing it so well and so right and thinking about the community so much that it's just going to end up where so many people are going to want to be involved, and it's going to pay off in so many big ways, as opposed to getting a big payday once or twice or a
I
few
know.
times and then getting a note getting known in the community and in the industry as somebody who takes advantage of people, that takes money from people, that leaves people wrecked, like all those things. I have zero interest in that. So now, instead of continuing forward and making an even bigger name for himself, and also making and possibly changing other people's lives, he's stuck. And I'm sorry, but that's where he is, and he's probably not going to really make more of himself than what he is, which obviously he's done very well for himself up until now, but it stops there. Whereas what we're going to do is we're going to start here, and we're down here at the bottom, yes, but we're going to end up starting to move up, and we're going to get to a point where people are going to be really excited and engaging and willing to come for everything that we do, which is going to, in the end, equal a lot of money, a lot of notoriety, a lot of praise, a lot of recognition.
Yeah,
And
but
that, to
that's
me, is the better
what you're
way to
trying to
go. It
do.
might be
Yeah.
a longer road, but it's a better
Oh, it
road.
is.
And to me, it's a more profitable road as well.
It's definitely a lot harder to do things the right way.
It is. But guess
I can,
what? When you
I
do it the right
can
way, it's
attest to that.
way more profitable, isn't it?
But I'll just going back to some of your statement there, where you're saying that the quick buck and that. Now, just to change the perspective, did he see that Vulcan wasn't as bullish as what it like? Did he have his doubts about its future, and the reason why he just wanted to basically cash out whatever he can when he could, or is it just pure greed?
I think it's just pure greed. I mean, what we're talking about here is the release of a one-of-a-kind, first of its kind blockchain. There is nothing but bullish written all over this, but he wanted to. He's been doing things in a way, again, that is a very short-term mentality.
Yeah.
You know, very short-term mentality. And I believe that when we see Nick Cagliani on Thursday, we're going to see the birth of what's really going to happen, and how this can be sustainable, profitable, and successful for everybody involved long term. And long term means let's go back in time, and let's go and look at the second one that ever came out, which is Ethereum. Well, they were nothing. They were absolutely nothing, and they didn't have a lot of people that were betting on them. Nobody even really cared about them. But now they're the second largest blockchain in the world. And obviously, Bitcoin being the number one blockchain, and then Ethereum. And look at what their valuation is, and look at the industry that they have created, with everybody basically copying their code and coming out with other blockchains. And then on top of that, forget about all the blockchains that have come out of what Ethereum has done. Just look at Ethereum again. Let's stick with that and look at all the different projects and problems solved because of what has been created on the Ethereum blockchain. I mean, this has been a very long time coming, And now look at where they are. I was having a discussion in the Discord about where they are in terms of volume for the day, and somebody was like, "Well, they're only at 7 million." I was like, "No, they're not. No, they're not." And I went on CoinMarketCap because I was like, "They're usually about 5 or 6 billion a day," and on that day it was nearly $8 billion in volume, and I copied everything and pasted it in. And I was like, "They're $7 billion a day is what that blockchain produces in volume a day." That's ridiculous. Now, it's not Bitcoin. They're like, 30 billion, 25 billion. That's what Bitcoin runs every single day. That's their volume. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's still pennies. It's still tiny compared to the stock market and the NASDAQ. It's just not, it's not even comparable. We're 1% of what that is. So when you think about what's out there in terms of money and the exchange of value, there's a lot that the blockchain offers in terms of exchange of in terms of the transfer of value, which is really what the blockchain is best at, right? There's all kinds of different things that will be produced, including one of them being the world coin, which is the same. Which sounds the same as ours. We're not the world coin. We're the worldwide token. The worldwide token. And they're the world coin. Well, what is the world coin doing? The world coin is being developed so that people around the world can be able to have an identity that they don't have right now. Meaning, you have a license, I have a license. People can, ask for our identification, and we can identify ourselves. The world coin is going to be able to do that for people in a hut in Africa. That's the difference. They don't have IDs in those types of populations in Africa and around the world, indigenous places. They don't have that. Third world countries don't have licenses. But now with the world coin, they will be able to, and they will now be able to participate financially in the worldwide financial system. That's what the world coin is going to offer. That's a gigantic problem solved. I mean, that's a huge, gigantic problem solved. That comes from the blockchain. So there's a lot that the blockchain can offer, but the most valuable thing that it does is it's a transfer of value from one person to the other in seconds at the most minimal cost. And that has come with time, but in time it has become and proved to be very, very extremely valuable. And in Bitcoin's case, obviously, we can see the transfer of value being in gigantic numbers, and it's going to be even bigger in time. I believe that Satoshis are going to end up having their own price on them because each Bitcoin is going to be so outrageous. I mean, we're talking about $1 million or more in the next 5 to 10 years. But again, all of that has come with time. And the success of that, like a guy bought a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin, 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. Now that's worth about $500 million. Those 2 pizzas. So, again, in time, things work out for the way better as opposed to the couple $100,000 or $1 million that you can get because you scam people. We have zero interest in that.
No, that's exactly right, and that's where it's. It's always challenging to do real projects, but at the end of the day, that's, you're either one person or the other, it depends on what sort of person you are. And I know what sort of person I am, and I'm sure what sort of person you are. Time will tell, but I'm sure you've got integrity. You've stood up in the face of hardships, Roy Kelly saying that, you've copped a shit ton of FUD already. Yeah, I know. That's that's why, Roy, that I don't get into the politics of the tokenization and trying to critique it with my opinion, because why do I have an opinion that is then put on top of other people to make their free choice? Like I just don't believe that I'm in the right position to do that. And plus I've got the motive of having my own project. And so, like you can always look at conflicts of interest and stuff. And no, I'm not getting involved in that. I'm impartial as it can be. And that's where I've joked to you plenty of times about different fuddy things, and feel free to call a whale to calf and that right now if you're good in your whale calls. Like, feel free to do that for me.
You love those
I had
whale
to throw
calls,
one in there. I had to throw one in there.
Yeah, any whales that are ready, be ready, because we're going to be selling out. I had to adjust my camera and clean it. It looked like it was dirty. Plus that flashing thing in the back. I don't know how to fix. Anybody know how to fix my camera so that it stops automatically focusing in and out of that on that light? It's ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, we're going to be selling out in less than 18 seconds. The world record is 18 seconds, Keith, on pink sale. So we're going to get that done.
Don't get too worked up. Just enjoy the ride.
No, we're getting worked up. We're getting worked up. We're going to be. we're going to break the record in less than 18 seconds. These tokens will be gone. So all whales, get ready, including you, Keith. I know you're a huge whale. Get ready. 10 B&B minimum is what you can get. Multiple wallets ready. We're going to be breaking this record. So.
Cosmic agreed. We want Vulcan to be running for at least a month. Obviously, this is a reply to a question to statements a while back when we were talking about needing the chain to be launched and stable and all the rest of it. At least a month and tested before we launch anything on there. Not migrating Vulcan will be additional contracts, and I think that's really the only way all of us are going to do it now is additional contracts. I just don't see anyone just wholly and solely going directly and migrating 100% to Vulcan. I don't see that. And I don't see that as being more or less bullish. If anything, I see that as less bullish to do that. When if you're on multi-chain, you're bringing in eyes from elsewhere to see where else the token is. Like they'll be presented with, holders will get like access to Discord and stuff like that, and media releases that you have within your Discord to promote both blockchains or however many blockchains you're on. And so people might see, oh, there's arbitrage opportunities, or there's, like I could buy on that blockchain because of some advantage that it gives you over the other one, or whatever it might be. We'll find out as time goes on. Obviously, Nick's got to come up with a plan for new tokenomics and stuff like that to know what's actually going to happen. But it'll be interesting to see. And I think that it's more bullish for projects to be multi-chained and connected to Vulcan if you want the success of Vulcan than just projects launching directly onto Vulcan. Yeah. And that's my own take on it. I don't see a project could be 100% Vulcan and have that, the community's heart in your mind, 100%, because it brings in so much more risk. But to be multi-chained, then that's obviously a different story altogether.
Well, Will Miner's asking, what is the release price of worldwide, and how much do you see price movement in the first 24 hours? Well, right now we've got enough interest right now, in my opinion. I mean, no one can ever know for sure, obviously. Yeah. But I believe that we have enough interest right now to sell out on day one, which is on pink sale, and that price, Will Miner, is at $7 per token. So $7 per token is basically what you're paying. And then when we release and we're on mainnet, that opens up the swap and the DEX, all the DEXs involved, including obviously the number one, which is Pancake Swap. And where that goes, I think we have enough, right? And I'm talking about at this moment right now, we have enough that will push the price even further after we release. And where I would say right now, at the very least, is I believe that we can at least double the price going into mainnet. That's right now. Now, why am I saying that? Well, because we don't have a release date yet. Once I have a release date, it is a full throttle all the way to mainnet, where I'm going to be just going on every single day. Your map is going to be going on every single day, and then I'm hoping you and Chalk and others will get on board, where you're going to be talking about this release. And then, of course, the day of the release, there's going to be me on all day long talking about it, getting people ready and getting the excitement up so that people can be aware of this. There's also the World coin that was released, so that's giving us a lot of press as well because it's called World. So people are looking up World and they're finding the worldwide token. That's obviously going to help us.
That's
and there's some good and bad about that.
Whatever.
I'm sorry?
That's the chat GP or whatever it is.
Yes,
the AI chat.
That's the one that the guy that came up with that, he came out with a coin where people will have an identity around the world now that can participate in the world financial system. There's people that cannot because they don't have an ID, and now they will because of that identification that this token provides. The World coin provides that, which is obviously a gigantic deal, right? So people are looking up World, and guess what they're finding? They're finding that, and they're also finding the worldwide token. So I didn't know that was going to happen, but it's happening now, right as we're about to release. So that's helping us as well.
Yes,
there's also the website.
Like that.
Yes. But there's also what we're doing on. We have contests running. I've got a contest for people to be able to win World. Roy Kelly is doing an amazing job on Twitter, posting all kinds of things left and right. So is your map, huh?
He's a busy man.
He's very busy, and he's doing a great job. We've gone from we're nearly at 2,000 people. Last week we were at like 1,300. We're almost at 2,000 people in the Discord, and I just believe that's just going to keep on growing. What's that?
Did you employ a heap of bots?
No, we have no bots. There's nothing like that at all. This is all organic.
I'm only pulling the piss.
No, it's a good question, though. It really is a good question because people think that kind of stuff. And I can guarantee you right now, one thing that will never happen: we will never employ bots for anything. If it's not a real person, I don't want it in my Discord.
Yeah. No, all you get is bloody bots going hi, and it's like, yep.
Yeah. But they're going to be. We have a good organic growth right now. And then, of course, when we release that money, like I told you before, we're gonna use to employ the checking again of the components for because I believe that the 2 audits for the contract is going to be sufficient. I'm sure you can agree. But the claim components and anything else that's attached to the contract, I think needs to be looked at again and again, and we will have them looked at again and again and attacked in every possible way before people use them, so that we can make sure that those things are not at all penetrable. And then once that's the case, we'll be very comfortable. But then on top of that, the money that's going to come in will help us to deploy the Twitter campaigns. We'll be able to offer bigger YouTubers some money to be able to say, even just to mention the worldwide token, say, hey, listen, guys, check this out, and we'll give them a couple $100 or whatever their fee is. And maybe we can even have somebody do a feature video. Like maybe I can contact Summer from Fire Hustle, and she could put together one of her videos that she does so well. All these things are going to come into play after we release. That's going to bring a lot more attention, and I think that it's going to end up in the end being a really great thing for the early holders, and then of course anyone that gets involved. Because even at a 10x price, what can end up happening for you buying in at a 10x price? What can happen for you because of the worldwide token is spectacular.
Geez, you're really pushing it hard on me.
Well, I hope that you're going to be one of my supporters. This is going to be great for the Calves.
I am a supporter, Daniel. Like I'm a supporter, but
yes, you are.
but I'm sitting on the fence. Of course, I'm not telling anyone my opinions one way or the other. Whether I do or don't, that is my choice, and everyone else is free to make that choice. But I just love your enthusiasm. You're right. You really get driven and going bloody hard. It's like you just
Yeah.
you're so focused and determined, and the passion is just like, oh, there's the Daniel we know. Like he's still
Yeah.
there. He hasn't
I'm
been
here.
burnt out yet.
That's right. I didn't let the former guy like take me down. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, like obviously you went through a hell of a flogging with all that shit, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
and
sure you have questions.
but seriously, at the end of the day, don't you find it like I use those sort of hardships? I'd call it character building. Isn't it like building your character, building your resolve, your determination, your drive to be, like better than that? Like, isn't that like a clear example of what not to do? So then you do things, much better, through
Yeah.
those
So
learnings.
it is an absolute driving force. Yeah. We've spoken about it. And so
Yeah,
one of the things that I want is for this to be uh, a learning period for everybody that, you know, a lot of times in life, what people do is they try something, and if it doesn't work, they might try it again. And then if that doesn't work, then it really diminishes your belief in something. And you might not try again. But with this, what I want people to understand and take out of this is that when the worldwide token comes out and you are still there, you are somebody that still believes and you still have faith in this sector, and then of course me, uh, even after everything that we've all gone through, it's going to prove to be, if you stick to it. You know how we've always heard that, Keith? Like, you got to stick to it. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. And then, things will happen. I want this to prove to be that type of a moment for people. I want people to see that, yes, there is, if you don't give up and you stick to it and give it your effort. And I'm talking about even people's faith, because that is a lot to have to ask from someone. They need to have faith. And sometimes, what is faith? Faith is believing in something that you can't see or touch. It's just, you have to believe in something, right? And if you have that, and that's a lot to ask. That's a very hard thing for people to do. But sometimes it does pay off, and I believe and working towards this project being what that turns out to be for people, believing in something, having the faith, and it paying off for them, because faith is a huge, gigantic thing to ask from people. And it's also a huge, gigantic payoff in the end. When you have faith in something that you cannot see or touch, but then it ends up happening, it usually is a big payoff, isn't it? And that's why we believe in God. We
but
believe in God.
as you know, in
If you don't
this,
believe in God, then you're not going to have a very good eternal afterwards, right? But we
the
don't
thing,
see or touch God. But if you believe in Him, then you're going to have a big, gigantic payoff, just like many other things when it comes to faith. And I hope that people can have faith in me.
on a farm, we know God's touch all the time, because it giveth and it taketh away. Like, it's amazing how we go
Mm-hmm.
through good and hardships. Like, it's especially when, like, even though our success is very good with young animals because we're good at what we do, and yeah, I know my head's getting bigger by saying that, but it is still a challenging thing to do, and a lot of most people can't do it because it's just having that undeniable commitment where you don't get days off. We just got to do what we're doing every single day, regardless whether there's flood storms going on or whether I've had rug pulled on us or whatever it is. I still got to get up and do the same shit every day. Like,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. So, regardless of what goes on in my life, I've still got to think of animals number one, because those little guys can't fend for themselves. They need me. And as much as the community needs us as well to do the
Mm-hmm.
right thing. And
That's
that's
right.
where, like, it's the same thing. You want to nurture it. You want to try and look after it. and that's why you're trying to implement things to make it right. And that's all you can really do, is just to do it as good as you possibly can. Try not to fall into any landmines like what I did and other projects have done, and then just move forwards from there. Keep the spirit and just, have some faith, like you said, and just keep doing the right bloody thing. Because it's going to test you. You're going to be, you haven't even begun yet. Like, you're going to get tested, and that's why I'm supportive behind the scenes to you as a CEO, because I know you're going to feel. Hopefully, you don't. Like, I hope for your sake that you just don't get put under that sort of stress. But I know that some point, somehow, you're going to get stressed, and that's
well,
why.
I've been stressed already, so but I'm sure that there's going to be other times, but I think I can handle it.
Yeah. No, you'll be all right, but just without doing too much yelling and screaming at the camera. Like, it's
People
good to
love
show
that,
passion.
though.
I
People
know,
love
I know. It's your traits. I know you like before you're getting all wound up, going, how passionate you get, and it's like, bloody hell, shit, he's going off, and I'm like, fuck, am I going to get whacked through this camera here? All right.
Yeah.
But no, that's why, like, I don't care about. Well, I like talking to other people about their projects and whatever, because I don't have an ego which is saying, oh, calf is everything. Yeah, I want calf to be good, of course, yes, because it has a real life utility, and that's what it is. But I want other projects to be successful for their people too, whether I'm involved or not. I want projects not to scam and do malicious shit to people's income, to their money, because that stuff is just fucking annoying. How you get people taking advantage of others, and it's just not right.
Well, it's just, I mean, there's people out there that believe in you and me and others, like the former guy, so much that they put their last dollar on it because they think it's going to do something to help their future, and then it just gets taken from them, and then they feel like they're, I've had people like telling me, Keith, that they don't feel like they should be living anymore. In other words, if you know what I'm talking about, and that to me is a grave concern. We can't have that kind of stuff going on, but unfortunately, that's the way people end up feeling because they get taken advantage of so much. And I want to change all of that. I don't want any of that. I don't want anyone feeling like that when it comes to the worldwide token. I want them to feel comfortable.
We want to change all of that.
Yeah, we want to change all of that.
Respective projects. That's what
right.
We're trying to do. We're trying to instill at least some sort of good in the world. Like, just do your bit to be able to pass it forward, and hopefully that spreads on to the next. And the people that do the scamming shit just end up disappearing. Here's one. Crypto Dell. Hi, mate. Thank you very much for calling in. He's going through a hell of a lot of hardship. So thank you so much for watching, Crypto Dell. It's great to see you. Yeah, just keep your chin up, mate. I know you're going through some struggles. Yeah, life's a challenge, and some people at various points cop it more than their fair share. And Crypto Dell's one of them who's getting more than his fair share. But I'm not going to say anything.
Crypto down.
But there's that's why Chalk and I are trying to talk more on the good of crypto, not so much of the shit of crypto. That's why usually on my channel I try not to go into too much of the former guys fuddy stuff, and that, even though yes I do talk about it, but I try not to get too involved in it, because it just brings yourself and your projects down and just turns it into just a FUD session of just, you might as well just set up a FUD YouTube channel just talking shit. And I don't want to do that, because, like, people just don't need so much negativity in their life. Like, they get enough of it as it is, just trying to keep up with all the news that's going on. You don't need to keep filling them up with that. And that's why your enthusiasm and stuff is contagious onto people. And it's a good thing to have that, you know, express that and to pass it on to people. Makes people feel good, doesn't it? That's the idea of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, like, there was a lot of negativity surrounding Vulcan after the former guy and all the things that he's done, and whether or not it's even going to work out. Like, is this even going to be something that people are interested in? Which I refused to participate in. I was like, that's not going to happen. We have a blockchain here that we're waiting for, that a lot of work has gone into. It is going to release, and it's going to be successful. I took that route because I believe in this blockchain, and also the others that were involved that are completely different people. I believe in those people, and now we have the ultimate in Nick Cagliani, who's now running everything, and he's going to give us a plan on Thursday that I believe is going to be a spectacular way of moving forward. There might be some things that we don't like, and there's going to be, in my opinion, more things that we do like. And because we have somebody like him at the helm now, we've seen from his posts and the way that he's been speaking, it's a completely different way of going about things, more of a professional manner, and also more in the way of a real CEO and how he goes about things. And we're going to see those differences. And I also believe, Keith, that on Thursday, he's going to give us a date. He's going to give us a date on Thursday, I believe. That's just my opinion, but I think he's going to give us a date. Why? Because he's going to be so organized in how this can possibly happen that he actually says, if we do these things, we will be able to release on this date instead of end of the year. Nobody wants to hear that. I think he actually tells us a date on Keith, and I'm very excited about this. And I'm also excited to see what else he has to say, because I think it's going to be for the betterment of all of us and the blockchain. And I'm very excited about it, and I'm positive about it. That's the way we all should be.
The one thing about Nick and that AMA that he's going to have, he's got one chance to satisfy beyond reasonable doubt of getting it cleaned up. You know, like, this is why I was saying I don't know which day it was, but I was telling people, in my opinion, is that you'll never be 100% satisfied. Like, after the fallout of whatever's happened, you're never going to get 100% clarity on everything and be 100% satisfied. But you yourself have to be satisfied with, say, 80% or something like that, you know, because there's always going to be elements of doubt to some degree in some aspect. You know, like, there's no way he's going to just be able to satisfy Daniel and Keith and Chris and whoever else, every single person, to fix all of our doubts about everything that's going on.
Right.
We're going to have to walk away from that AMA going, okay, I'm 80% satisfied or whatever it might be, and go, okay, that's going to be enough for me. Right, let's drive forwards. Right, I'm right now. You know, you're never going to, in my opinion, you're never going to be 100%. If he pulls that off, that's a fucking miracle. Like, you're sure that he parted the seas or some shit, you know, because I just couldn't see that happening. But having said that, you know, I wish him all the best, that he makes a good pitch to get that to happen. But in all reasonableness, I think that, you know, like, if he gets like 80% satisfaction within yourself, you know, what you gauge is about that, where you feel a little bit of discomfort, but more happiness, then I think that's the time when you just got to move forward and just be happy with the direction of the way things are going. And, you know, I would, in my own opinion, I think that a lot of that rests around the transparency of the past, the Jason involvement, how much are they going to present? I think they're probably the biggest two aspects to, of course, the team itself, but you didn't know that Crypto Dell is Vulcan Dell, maybe?
Yeah. He has one of my Daniel Prado Worldwide T-shirts.
Good on him.
Yeah, it's got the signature and Daniel Prado Worldwide on it. It's
Good on you, Crypto Dell.
Him and Fowler. have my shirt. I don't know if Fowler's very much a fan anymore, but because but he at least bought the shirt once.
You better not let Volkendell down.
No, no. I have no intention of letting anyone down. Nobody's gonna. I don't want my intention is to not let anyone down. That's the point. Yeah.
Well, don't let Volkendell down. Like, don't. And that means you're not letting anyone down. It's all good.
My intention is to do everything that I possibly can to make everybody very comfortable. Like
isn't that what we're trying to do? Yes, I know.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. In a very difficult space, that's all you can do is to, and I'm sure you've got most of your bases covered, if not all of them. Like you've done what you can do.
Well, the one thing that I don't have covered yet, which is, and we're getting it covered, which is what I explained, is the added components. They are going to be covered, but I want them to be like locked up in a safe. Then put that safe in another bigger, more powerful safe, and then take that one and put it into a gigantic, big, massive safe. I just don't want anything to ever happen when it comes to the extra added components, and so I'm going to make sure, and that takes some money. So I'm going to make sure, because again, we don't have to worry about the gifts until later on. Money will have come in by then. We'll be able to pay to make sure that those safes, plural safes, are put inside the other, and make sure that they're all locked and nobody can ever do anything to them. That's the intention, so that there is then at that point not a worry. Not that there's a worry now, but you know what I mean.
No. That's why I'd say, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. Like I know you're determined on getting all your checks and balances done to such a high standard that there's just, like the likelihood is so low that I get it. That it's good. That's what a proper CEO should be doing, isn't it? Is making sure that you've got their best interests and doing the right thing by the people. That's what it's all about.
And that's what this is. So, like you asked about the taxes. So the taxes is 10 and 10.
Yeah.
And the taxes is going constructed in a way that it gives back in every way. So even the burn component, when we have the tokens vaporized, well, that's bringing down supply. So that's going to help. There's the buyback and burn. That's obviously helping everybody with buying back and vaporizing. But then that buyback is simply staying in there. There's no time that we ever take those tokens and then sell. Then there's the worldwide pool where it's gathering Vulcan. I'm sorry, it's gathering the worldwide token so that you could be able to claim from them. That's where the taxes is going. And then there's the treasury. So the treasury is going to be there to go out and buy these assets to then be offered up as gifts. So now there's obviously some of it that's going to be shaved off for me, Yamap, and Mrs. Worldwide, but that has to come out. Obviously we want to get paid. I'm not going to lie about that. Everybody knows that we're putting a lot of time and effort into this. There's also the gifts that we're going to make money off of, because there's going to, unfortunately, people that don't. You're getting some of the money also. Is that what it is? Is that why you're pointing at yourself?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't forget about me.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you're automatically getting 5 world. You know that, right? No. You're getting 5 world right off the bat, because one of the things that I put out there was that anybody who makes a video about the worldwide token that's 7 minutes or longer gets 5 world, and this is well over 7 minutes. So anyone who makes a short, if you make another video, you'll get another 5. If you just make a quick 7 or 8 minute video, I'll give you another 5 worldwide tokens. Yeah, because I want people to make the video.
I got your Discord on my phone, and it keeps popping up with these bloody notifications all the time that all of this stuff going on, like this bloody notification. Like, what are you doing? Like,
which one? I told everybody that I'm on with you. That was the last notification that I had. Yeah, that's right.
I know, I'm joking. Like, come on, just have a laugh. Yeah,
well,
but
I want.
You've always got a lot going on, haven't you? Like, there's just in your announcements and all of this stuff. There's just a lot happening all the time on your space, and it's good to see a hive of activity because it's a pre-launch. That's what it is.
And also, but by the way, like once we launch, though, I mean, there's still going to be a lot that we have to tell everybody. Like when's the first Bitcoin going up? Like all these different when the first Bitcoin goes up, like that. Those things are going to be very exciting. And I can tell you right now, there's going to be excitement, and there's going to be people talking about this when it launches. They're going to be in the Discord talking about their profits and then the price action and everything else. But when that first Bitcoin goes up, that's it right there. I mean, once that happens, Keith, I'm telling you right now, that is the one right there, because that's when people will go, okay, this is happening. I can't believe this guy's putting up a freaking Bitcoin for people to claim. And at that moment, I think people start to realize this is real, and it's not going to stop. So that's I can't wait for that moment.
You see Leon's message here. Besides tokenomics, all project owners should be fully doxed. Post a code of conduct and or business ethics, full financial transparency so people can judge the project against the standard. Right. That was an interesting aspect, because what used to happen in crypto was that you didn't there was no doxing from teams, and then they started to do doxing, and that's where the scamming came into it, because oh no, he's doxed, he wouldn't scam, and so it's kind of like you step up a level, because the scammers used to always be people that weren't doxed, and now the scammers are people that are doxed, and it just keeps on stepping up a level. So as much as that is wonderful, yes, you should always have full disclosure, and like, hello, I'm here, like, you're there, you're doing your thing, you're being doxed, you kind of got your name behind you. You present you as you, apart from like no one's seeing your driver's license, but they're seeing you, and they're building.
Well, if I could, let me just say this: like what you're saying right now is exactly the reason why I got so sucked into the former guys' scams. I was so filled with like gratitude in this I guess you can call it this haze of being doxxed, and this is the new way of doing things, and everyone needs to be coming out and showing their faces, this, that, and the third, because I was that guy that was like, yeah, there's no way that he's going to ever do anything. Look at him. He showed his license, guys. Like, what is wrong with you? You guys are idiots, all this nonsense. Yeah. And that was because I fell into all of that stuff, Unfortunately, we saw that didn't happen, with all of the wash trading and the market making, whatever he wants to call it. Unfortunately, yeah, I mean, those things might not be illegal, but they're unethical, and they just took advantage of people, and a lot of money was taken from people because of it. Like a lot of people lost a lot of money when they would sell because they were scared. And they lost a lot of money, and people just never came back. I don't ever have any intention of ever doing anything like that. In fact, one of the number one things that we have here that I've built was the basis. The number one foundation was that we will never have any tokens that we build up and sell on people ever. That's never going to happen. There's not one scenario where that will ever happen, ever. Like, it's just not one time. In fact, I have a central exchange that I've been going back and forth with, and one of the things that they came up with to alleviate the tax was, they said, well, what we can do is we can take the and this is just an example of how I'm going to make sure that this does not happen to anybody. Okay, what we can do is this is them speaking. What we can do is we can take 10% of the sale in the worldwide token and set it aside. And at the end of the week, we send you that. And I said to them, and then what am I going to do with that? Sell it? Like, that doesn't do anything for me. You have to figure out how you can get those sold immediately, right after the sale, so that it's like a little sell. Little sell and then buy, and then little sell. You can have like a little staircase. Sometimes you can have a drop and then it goes back up, higher highs, lower lows, whatever, right? What I don't want is at the end of the week to get 5,000 world tokens, and the only way that I can get anything out of it is to have to now dump it on everybody.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Right.
Yeah, it's never going to happen. So I told them we're not doing that. And this is yet again another example of me making sure that there's never going to be a time where I ever have a bunch of, and this is what happened over and over and over and over again. In all of our history, we know this. And when I'm talking about all of our history, I'm talking about the past year and a half, more than a year and a half now. We had to suffer through those types of things over and over and over again. And there's people that didn't know any better. They would see that kind of a red candle and they'd be like, this is a rug pull, I'm out, and they'd leave. And then they'd lose money. Why? Because then, you see these buys come back in, and it was the former guy playing with people's minds, this, that, and the third, like all these types of things. I have zero interest in all of it. None of it is going to ever happen, ever. It's just going to be normal organic growth and falls and then highs, and whatever happens, it's going to be because of the market, not because of anything that I do. The only thing that I will be spending is the B&B that comes in from taxes, because it's already coming in as B&B, and that's it. There's never going to be a time that I have world that sells ever.
See, that's where, like, I know I'm changing the subject, not that we're fixed on the world subject, but I'm changing it to calf for a moment. That's why I've changed it to, because you got to remember that I'm sort of locked into the original allocation of tokens, where I've got a treasury and then the rest of them are divided up to whoever's purchased them. But that actually, I've used that to my favor, which is for the protocol, which is that I've made it so, making it so it's 100% in reflections, but the reflections are paid in Grove coin. So then there's no red candles ever forming to sell half of the calf, if you received it in calf, to add to LP for argument's sake, because you've already got the Grove coin, and then, which is half your pair, and you just got to add it to the other half of the calf, and which you don't have to sell to get it, because you've already got it, and so you can add it to your LP, and so it stops all those little red candles you get whenever you do an LP ad. When you sell half your tokens. See, currently the reflections are in calf V2, which means that half of those calf tokens have got to get sold on the free market to get the B&B to add it to the remaining half to then put it into LP. And it always creates a little bit of a red candle. And, like, to eliminate that, guess what? Don't have reflections in your native token then. And so you get it in something else. And that's what you're talking about. You try and avoid doing things that put any downward pressure on your token. You don't need it.
Right.
And
exactly.
And when you pay reflections in your native token, guess what happens? It gives people an opportunity for more to sell. And so if you give them something else to sell, well, then guess what? They'll sell that and won't sell yours. And so then you've got an opportunity of not getting red candles again. So you're helping to stimulate the market in a positive way. And then if I need to do something like with because that reflection component that the treasury wallet gets, which is like 23% of the supply, obviously that gets 23% or whatever of the reflections paid in Grove, but that means that I've automatically got Grove token that I can either put to liquidity, I can put to marketing, or whatever it is that I choose to do. At least I've already got that asset without having to sell down any calf to buy that to get something that's usable. And so it just helps to alleviate those red candles, and you've got to have that sort of forethought within your protocol to avoid that at pretty much all cost, because times will get tough at some point. It will get a bit harder for you. There's no sugarcoating it. Doesn't matter how good your gifts are or whatever it is that you're doing, some point, some economic thing will always make things tougher for you. Sure. And what I tend to find in life is that it's things that are well out of your control. Like I used to be building
Black
new
Swan.
houses.
That's what they're
I
called.
used to be, yeah, I used to be building new houses and stuff back in the sort of mid 2000s. Like 2007 to 2012 or something like that. But of course, that's when the GFC hit. And that really did, like, that's bankers in your part of the world that put the ripple over to us big time. And it made it bloody hard. And that's why, like, even within your token space, you might think, oh, you're insulated from whatever. But somewhere, somehow, someone knows how to fuck it up for you and make it hard, and that's why I say that at some point, unfortunately, you have to learn to deal with challenges. And I'm sure you've learned a lot over the last 12 months or so, especially. And so going forwards, you've got a clearer mindset of being able to see that you've got a challenge coming, even if it's only within minutes, but you've got a challenge and then you can deal with it. Like, you sort it out. And it was like when my ship went down with my contract, I pushed the pause button as fast as I could, because that's what you do in the heat of the moment. You do what you got to do to save your thing, to save the community, to save everything. And that's where I'm sure that you've learned enough skills now to do the same thing. So please make sure you got a pause function on your project. I'll tell you that one. Make sure you got that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Don't launch.
Yeah, we're still live, Ellie.
Yeah. Yeah. Ellie's wonderful. Thank you so much, Ellie, for joining. She's just amazing. She supports us like you wouldn't believe. Don Crypto, hello. Thank you. Welcome. I know we're all got the best of intentions to do all the right stuff. Obviously, I've been doing my thing a lot longer than what you have, and I've been through some ups and downs and stuff. But hopefully that proves itself. My worth is that through those times, I've actually done what I needed to do and done what was appropriate. And of course, like I'm preparing you for, even in just words, of course, is be ready for that same sort of thing, wherever it might come from. Like, of course, it comes out of left field, but you just got to be ready to strike and to take appropriate and decisive action. And hopefully that doesn't happen, but just in case it does, just always have one foot ready, to do protection or do whatever it is that you need to do to make it right by everyone. Oh, no.
Yeah, well, I certainly appreciate your support, brother, and I appreciate you having me on to talk about the token and answer some questions.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm sorry, Ellie, that you got your migraine back again. That's just that's a prick of a thing to have. Obviously,
those migraines. I've never dealt with that before, but I know that people do all the time. Like even Donato has spoken about how he suffers from them all the time. I just can't imagine having that kind of a problem all the time. I mean, but I feel for people that do.
When I had brain surgery, I was getting migraines every day of the week afterwards, and that went on for about 18 months or so. When I started doing videos for videos when I first started, so that's it's been more than 18 months because it was in December 2020 I had surgery, and then I'm talking about October 22. So that's nearly 2 years worth of migraines just about every day of the week. And then I just got absolutely, some days were obviously worse than other days, but it was so shit. So I really understand migraines. But that's why I went and seen neurologists and that to try and stop it. And fortunately, I got treatment that is where I am today. That helped me out. So I don't get them near as much anymore. But that's why some people have criticized some of the ways in which I talk at night or whatever. In this environment, I'm really good because when there's light around, the light makes me all right. But when I'm in a darker environment, like when I'm sitting in the car for argument's sake, I get all vertigo and it just makes me like I'm pissed.
You
because it's
do
just
you do have a
horrible.
much different sound about you with
Yeah,
the environment as opposed to
yeah.
the car. Yeah.
But with the light in my face, I'm really good. But it's like at the moment, at this time of the year here, we've got a lot of clouds in the sky. Like it's nearly always overcast, except for Monday. It was a nice, clear, bright sky. But but being when it gets dark with the fully overcast sky, I go outside and I just want to spew up because it's the vertigo comes on and it's just such a sick, horrible feeling, But that's the new normal. And that's why it's hard to talk at those times of the day because it's just horrible. it's, that's life. Um, but yeah, no, it's been good having you, Prado, to have a chat and see your enthusiasm, see you all wound up, and give it some.
Thank you so much. Well, I am gonna leave it here because I do have to get
Yeah.
ready and then work out. I'm gonna get back into my working out. I'm starting
Oh,
today, getting back into it. Get ready. Yeah,
I need to do that.
and then I'm gonna go on at 12, which is in 3 hours from now, on my channel, and
Yep.
just talk to people. It's gonna be called Let's Talk Crypto, and of course, I'm gonna talk about the worldwide token and other things that are going on
Really?
in the world. So yeah.
Geez, I wouldn't have guessed that. What are you talking about that token for? It's
Well, it's funny because that new world coin we were talking about earlier that came out, so it's a lot of people are
free
talking about that,
marketing.
and it's gonna bring a lot of attention to the worldwide token. So I want to go on and talk about the differences in the two, and they're obviously two completely different things, but they're both tickers are world. So people are going to be looking and they're going to be
What's your
finding that.
luck? Seriously, what sort of luck do you have? Like,
I,
who comes out? Like,
I
I
know
don't
it's
like.
crazy. And the whole world
I'm
is talking about it too, so it's weird. It's crazy, but
yeah,
I do want to talk about it and let people know that there is a big difference. So
but
I want
that's
to
that.
make sure.
But that. But that's why it's important now going forwards. I think is to not get into too much fuddy stuff and just talk
No,
about the real stuff, like
yep,
just be genuine and talk about the real things that are going on with your project and just,
that's it.
just drive forwards with what you're doing. I think it's bloody good. That's what you should be doing. And time will tell how it's received and what it does. I'm interested to see how it all goes. Like I'm obviously not expressing my opinion one way or the other on that here, as I've said a couple of times. But obviously, I'm hoping it does well and it does everything that it needs to do and is successful for people and obviously for yourself and all that sort of stuff. Like of course, like I'm not
Thank you,
selfish. I want people to do well in whatever it is. I genuinely want that to happen,
and I believe
and
that.
so hopefully it's all good.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
brother.
So yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Thank you very much for jumping on and having a chat. So
Thank you.
yeah, this is
I'll see you
this
guys next time.
this here goes across on the Chalks channel as well, so that helps a little bit more with
Absolutely.
even though she's not here because she had housework to do. But yeah, well that's that done, guys. So oh, geez, he bloody wore me out. I'll tell you. And do you guys feel like when you're talking to Prado that you've been in a boxing ring with like a boxer? Like there's just, geez, he's full on. He's just like when he talks, he's very passionate and determined. Yeah, it's yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. I'm saying that's a good thing. But yeah, geez, he's got some energy, I suppose you'd call it, wouldn't it? Like maybe doing too much of that gym stuff is making him so he's all geared up, ready to burst out with. Oh shit! Yeah. But yeah. Hopefully everyone has liked what we've done. That was impromptu. I didn't realize that was going to happen, but obviously it's good that it did. I like to have a chat to different people about different things. So hopefully it's all good. Well, thank you very much, Cosmic Force, for joining, and Ellie. I feel for you about the migraine stuff. I really do. Don Crypto, thank you. Leon, absolutely. Cheers. And Chris Cruz and Crypto Dell, Whale Miner and Yamap and Birdo and Rock. Even though we didn't call you out, we've seen you there, so thank you very much. Roy Kelly, thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to do my thing and trying to help, like in my own little way, whatever it does. Seifu Dad, thank you. It's great to see you here, mate. Spartan Pub, good. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know I'm not very good at Spartan Pug with a good. Don't know. So, yeah, I hope your day gets better. I know that it's not good to take, but if you had some sort of anti-inflammatory, is usually a solution for that, or at least a part solution to it. But of course, they have their dangers. But yeah, what do you do? Anti-inflammatories nearly cost me my life once, but that was higher doses. They put me into acute tubular necrosis of the kidneys. So essentially, I went into kidney failure. But fortunately, kidneys are a self-healing organ, and they came back to life. They were completely non-functioning, and then they came back. So that was good. No. Yeah, but that's a different story. So yeah, I think I'll call it quits. Thank you very much, everyone. Cheers for your help and support. And yeah, we're just all trying to do our thing. Hopefully, I know everyone realizes that and appreciates that, and it's good. All right. Love yous all. Oh. Please take care, everyone. Look after yourselves and whoever's around you. Take care. Love yous all. See ya.